Welcome to our weekly Governance Voice. This is a program brought to you courtesy of the Institute of Certified Secretaries, powered by Bafunde. I am your host, Obare Nyaega. This program focuses on leaders of the industry and governance experts who share their views and journeys in their leadership. This month, we focus on women movers. These are ladies who have made an impact in the industry. And this morning, we are privileged to host CHRP, Quresha Abdullahi, the Executive Director of the Institute of Human Resource Management, IHRM. Welcome to the studio. Karibu-san.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So, Edie, we could begin off by talking about your current position. You currently control about 14,000 professionals. How has your journey been to where you are currently as the ED of IHRM?
Thank you. So I have completed my high school in 2002, and I went to college, and immediately after I got my diploma, I've started working as a HR. I started my internship in a law firm and then proceeded to work with an international NGO. I've worked into MSF and IRC.
Okay.
And since inception of my HR career, I've been supporting not just the employees, but also HR professionals based in different countries. So I will say that's how my leadership journey has started immediately, because we were working with countries where they didn't have formal educations and all that. And now with our skills here in Kenya, our job was to build their skills and also prepare them for the career. So it's been a journey. And if you look at it in the other field, if I take you back at MSF, you know, I was mostly working in Somalia program. And we had people there who were just on a civil war, some of them watchmen. And thanks to the policies which MSF have put in place, the HR department had now to support building capacity. And we have built people from being guards to clinical officers by partnering with AMREF. So since then, I've never looked back, and have been passionate about building people's skills until where my journey right now, which I got through International Rescue Committee. Again, I've supported a country program, and I moved to a regional role supporting 8 countries. And when you have the leadership to lead 8 different individuals based in 8 different countries, some of them speaking different languages, mostly Swahili, Somali, French. So you realize you have to stand out and give them, especially because I strongly believe it's not an accident that you're given that role. So you just have to go over and beyond and deliver in it. And 15 years of working for international NGOs. For the last 4 months, I got an opportunity with the Institute of Human Resource Management, now at the HEM as the Executive Director. And that's how my journey has been until May this year, where I landed at IHRM.
Back to IHRM now. You are slightly over 100 days. And we have this magical thing, people talk about my first 100 days. If you look back since you've been at HRM for slightly over 100 days, what would you give as your experience there?
You know, I am very passionate, and I'm someone who is very ambitious. And I always want to see results. And someone may talk about 100 days, but I always wake up to achieve something every morning. The first 100 days at IHRM, what we did was influencing policies. We've pulled other professionals together to give our voice on 2 bills which are currently in Parliament, Certified Managers Bill and Kenya Roads Bill, both of them 2021. Because we want to create a space whereby all professionals are treated equally. Also through IHRM, you know, now we have a big monster with us, climate change. So with 14,000 members, we can influence and do something for the environment. by creating a sustainable environment. So we've embarked on a journey to see how can we influence policies around that. And we've started with the basics. Let's grow trees. In all the 47 counties, our target is 100,000 trees, and we move beyond that. How do we change behaviors at workplace? Natural lighting over the electricity, leave your computers on or off, print or not to print. And I want to go beyond that and come up with a blueprint for green employment policies, not just for Kenya, but also for the whole of Africa. We've also gone through foregrounding HR issues by taking part in media conversations and also taking part in different forums. We participated in the Strathmore Business School, their HR Summit, and also a company called WorkPay, their Employee of the Year Awards. Even within our membership, because you've seen a lot of changes came with COVID, so we're looking at how can we keep up with the emerging trends. So introducing courses that are focused through that direction, HR analytics, a big thing now, the mental wellness, which we are focusing on it. And also for our membership, giving them the opportunities to interact through creation of more branches. Because 14 members, we are in a digital world, you cannot all bring them together in one app. So we have these forums where they interact in person or even now through the different platforms. So that is what we've been doing. And also for us, we are working towards our members at the center and the core of our work at IHRM. So we're looking at how can we revamp their welfare, because remember, we are an organization which is doing both regulation and welfare. So we have to look after the welfare of our members and coming up with different products. Yeah.
Right. You already, as you were starting off about your experience internationally, locally, 8 countries, those are quite huge and diverse, different languages. How is that important as an exposure to what's your journey in leadership?
So what that has done for me was, first of all, the multicultural experience. Because, here we are just one country, our ways of doing is the same. So that exposure of working with different people, as I've mentioned, some you need a translator, some you might understand. So it gives you that exposure of working with multicultural people. And the major thing that I have learned through that journey is the deliverables, the efficiency levels. Because you know what they say, sema na kutenda. Something just comes to the table and it moves quickly. Like decisions are made quickly because now that is a culture. So it really transforms you to be always thinking about the next thing. So you have to keep up. That is one thing that I appreciate from there. And then the other thing, when you're working within 8 countries, it prepares you for a bigger role. Because most of the time I had to travel, learn to live with other people. And now that is where the practice of work away from home starts. So now you have to adapt and all that. So those are some of the things that I really learned through this journey. And even the training opportunities, there's this thing, they're always looking at the next big thing. And to prepare you for that, they actually partner with big institutions, Ivy League, Harvard, Cornell. So you do your management course with Harvard, you do with your leadership with Cornell. So you don't have a reason to fail because you've been given that exposure. And when you're in those classes, now it goes beyond the institution, because the other individuals coming from business sector, people who are in private, public, so you exchange information. So, and even something better that we might have it in policy here, but within the international NGOs, it's put into practice. Gender equality, it's a big thing. So you have no option but to fit in.
Mhm.
And believe me, actually, everyone has one of the objectives is to look at your team. The gender equality is not just looked at how many do you have, but how many do you have at leadership, how many have you trained, and what are your plans for those within your team.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then the best practices in terms of HR. You have something to compare. You consult someone in Ethiopia, you consult someone in Syria, you consult someone in New York, and you come back with a lot of information on how you can do things differently.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. So when you look at IHRM as the ED in the next 1 decade or so, what is the vision looking like? Because HR plays such a key role in any economy.
You know, the vision for IHRM right now is ethical, people-centric HR professionals.
Mhm.
I want to see that go in a big way, not just in me, but the 14 members, which I'm hoping in the next decade will triple, because I believe we have more HR professionals here. So I want IHRM to influence policies, not just here in Kenya, but within Africa.
Mhm.
So we should have our footprints in all HR decision making here in this country. And we can do it because I strongly believe HR is the foundation of any organization. So that is the first vision I have for IHRM. And something else is in terms of the membership. We have a circle called Huduma Circle. And I strongly believe in a society. And HR professionals can form their own society through that circle. Is to ensuring that that circle grows beyond. Right now, it's just a small office at IHRM, but my vision is to see that they fly out and have their own structures, and it goes big, like more than just the 14,000, but opens up for the other professionals. And then I've just talked about the climate change. So I'm looking at a way whereby there will be footprints in terms of green economy. The role we play in terms of policies, because we might be going after the profit, making the shareholders happy, but soon we may not even have that environment to do business if we don't take care of it. So those are the visions I have for the Institute.
Right. So you've indicated that there's been very many changes, or there have been very many changes when it comes to HR practice because of the current pandemic. Talk about it from pay cuts to mental health to so many things. How do we begin understanding how this works and maybe go back to normalcy, if at all?
You know, for the last 18 months, we've learned how to do new things. But if you look back into research, there was always something we could learn from in doing this. And the big thing is that there's always some companies who will look at what will happen, how will the workplace look like in 2025. And that is where we are right now. Because the things which were predicted, we will be analytical, the work from home, digitization, everything is with us here. So COVID came, and that's where now you're tested. And just to mention, the other big vision I have for the Institute, if I take you back, is to have a research and innovation center, both for academic and application. Because right now, both in schools and universities, the case studies you're given, there is no local content. And we must start to build that. And this will have helped us in this situation we are in right now. There are job losses, people, a lot of uncertainties. We need to invest big in psychosocial support. You know, the same way you have to fumigate the office, you have to do machines, servicing, it's the same way you need to service the human being. So you need to look after their mental well-being. That is the first thing that we need to do. We need to reskill and upskill. And you can only do that if you're keeping up. We must have research and development centers whereby we can say, okay, these skills were valid, now they're not valid, let's invest in it. So training and development, a lot needs to be put. And then in terms of talent, you must have the systems to win the best talents. Because remember, the workplace is shrinking. We're sending more people home, but you must have the best, because you will find yourself in a situation whereby the job which used to be done by 10 people, now you need only 5.
Okay.
And if you don't have the best talent, then it becomes a problem. So invest in people, reskill, upskill, keep up with the change in trends, and preparing people for change. Don't just wake up one day and announce something. Prepare, even the ones you plan to retain, have the conversation with them that this is the plan, so that it doesn't become shock. And then the socialization bit, it's no longer work from home, it's work from anywhere. And we are social beings. I'm used to coming to the office, talking to people. So can we create those spaces online? The social hours that we used to have in the office, can we move them to Zoom? How we manage performance have changed. So how are we measuring? Because we're in a situation whereby we're not looking at 8 to 5, but work at your convenience, but deliver. So those are some of the things we need to look at.
Yeah. There have been historical concerns around gender, workplace, sometimes biases. And I know you've been in HR for a while now. Are these concerns still valid? And if at all, how do we begin having that mainstreaming? The issues of gender that sometimes, are mentioned.
Issues of gender equality, actually, it's a norm within our society rather than the exception. So how do we move away from it? I had a different experience, as I've mentioned. When you work on international NGOs, people who are big on rights of others and all that. So there's so much we can do. And if I borrow from that experience, you first of all we collect data, we must analyze. First of all, look at, are you really looking under the gender balance within your workforce? Is there equality? It's not just about the numbers. Once you do that, are you preparing them for the leadership role? And at this point, I want to mention something: equality and equity. And for me, especially because of the society I come from, I will say without a doubt, we can never be equal. But you can create equity within the environment. How do you do that? The trainings you give. Are you giving equal opportunities to everyone? And when you realize you've trained 10 men, can you be deliberate about your actions, ensuring you also give the similar training to 15 women? It's not even about the 1/3. Sometimes you just have to go extreme and cause positive disruption. That is one. Because the reason why I'll tell you that, it's because women make personal decisions. Maybe the 15 you will train, 5 of them will make personal decisions and may not want to continue with that journey. And then you have to create flexi work environment. Personally, I'm a young mother. So if you tell me Monday to Friday you have to be in the office 8 to 5, then I'll have to make choices. Because if you have a 2-year-old and maybe you have a caretaker, she's human, she can get an emergency. So you need time to also work from home and also look after your family. Then in terms of the diversity within the gender, you have, when you're recruiting, they call it the affirmative action, but you have to, again, to be deliberate. So you can't have affirmative action and you shortlist 4 professors who are men and a woman who just has her undergraduate. So you're already creating that unfair competition. So if you've advertised a position and you've put there women are encouraged to apply, then by all means, you know why you've put there, you already have your data, shortlist just women. I'm actually big on that, just shortlist. Although I have seen situations whereby in one of my departments, in my previous role, we had 5 ladies, and now they're like, we need to hire a male. So we've shortlisted 7 male and 1 female. And in the end, the lady was victorious. And I cannot say we can't give her the job. So It's just that we have a perception about women, but women can deliver. Look around the data. Actually, statistics don't lie. Companies which are led by women are more profitable than those led by men. That's a very recent statistics, I think in June or May this year. Okay. So why not? If you're after profit, then your best bet is on the other gender, which is a female.
Okay. Amazing statistics there. Maybe going back to your journey, leadership journey, and if you want to maybe mention a few of your achievements and the milestones that you want to call great to date, maybe a few of them.
I have mentioned I'm someone who is big on people. I always want to look back and see who have I left behind. Mm-hmm. And I am someone who really appreciates succession planning. Even currently at my workplace, as a lady, if an emergency happens, I always make sure I have number 1 and number 2. Mm-hmm. As I've mentioned, I've put policies in place which trained people from guards to clinical officers. I have led, right now when the return program started at the refugee camps, I led a program to have inter-border exchange programs, especially for the refugees who studied here in Kenya. Mm-hmm. And I look back and I'm very proud to see some of them are not only working in Somalia, but have gone for international roles. Back here home, mm-hmm. I have picked individuals, and that's why, in our society, because of the unequal opportunities, mm-hmm. people who had good grades from high school, but they could only afford up to be drivers. And that is from my own personal experience that I relate with them, because I could not go directly to university because of resource limitation at my home. So I have lifted people from drivers to now managers, because I've made sure the trainings that they undergo is in line with what they wanted. Some of them are operations officers, some of them are working in international roles at region. 2 ladies, actually, I'm very proud of right now working for IRC regional office. Mm. I brought them in as interns, and we still keep in touch. So for me, my biggest moment in leadership is humility and lifting others and leaving policies which will protect such individuals behind.
All right. Amazing. Then do you have role models? Do you have a mentor? How do you manage your journey of leadership?
So my journey of leadership, my mentor is my elder brother, okay. Major Retired Mohammed. Mm-hmm. He's someone who really pushed me to this direction. Mm-hmm. And he will always tell me, your background should not define you. Mm-hmm. I have seen, and people tell me, and I don't speak about this mostly, and someone asks, kumbe mtu anaweza toka mbali. So I have seen both worlds. Yeah. And I know what it feels like to be in the bush, look after the cattle, and I know how it looks like to lead an institution which takes care of 14,000 members. So for me, we speak very often, and within my professional cycle, at IRC, they've really heavily invested in me. They've attached me to a mentor. She was based in Uganda, mm-hmm. to make sure that my leadership journey is shaped. And when I left her arms, I went to someone who is in New York, Sarah Vania. So it's a journey. And right now, as I speak to you at IHRM, mm-hmm. I work with a lady who is local and supports me in this journey. So in leadership, by the way, you will always need a mentor. And for myself, I don't know at what age we become old, but I still consider myself to be young. So it's something that you always want someone to hold you accountable, mm-hmm. someone to walk this journey with you, mm-hmm. and give you the right direction and tell you, here you need to improve on this. So mentorship is a continuous journey. Myself, I mentor people, and I am still in the list of mentors for IRC. The ladies in South Sudan, currently I'm mentoring myself, and those are some of the things that I think I'll be doing for a very long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you've given quite a journey, in terms of your life, local, international, the current position. As usual, I'd like to also hear your I can't breathe moments. Those moments where it has been a bit difficult, but probably you've navigated. You've given some that you're a person of many worlds. So you could give us a few of these moments so we're also learning from your journey.
Yeah. So I am a young mother, and I have had my share of struggles. If I share something very personal, I have suffered many miscarriages. And sometimes, especially when you don't have someone to speak to, even to your employer, because sometimes there's some things you keep to yourself because you don't know how to share the same. And when it happened once, twice, thrice, the fifth time, it becomes difficult that you have team you need to navigate, and you also have your personal choices to make. Because the first thing you think about is age is catching up. I am losing many pregnancies. I need to slow down. So I will make, in my head, have those tough moments of, tomorrow I'm going to submit my resignation. But I had a very supportive family. And they'll always tell me, you will get over this. Don't do it. When I had my firstborn again, he was 3 months. He will always be sickly, and then I have to make choices. Then I told my mother, I think it's time. I will quit. I will go back. And there is a word she told me, and then she said, sleep over it, and let's see what you think tomorrow. She asked me, 6 years from now, he will go to school. So what will you do at home? And that gave me the courage to move. And again, you have sometimes, it's not all the time you have the support of leaders. Sometimes someone will ask you, call in without finding out what's the problem, check in on you, and they say, you're getting sick too many times. So again, the sacrifices you're making, and then someone just picks the call, not finding out how you're doing. So it becomes difficult. And also when you have spent on, you've worked on documentation, you think this policy will go forward, and then it stopped because someone does not relate, especially on issues of gender. In some countries, for some it might be normal, even with all those policies. For some, someone outrightly telling you, please don't recruit women in her reproductive age. And that time, I am just out of maternity. So there are plenty. You are tried, and you try to push out as a woman leader that there's always this cloud over your head that someone wants to hold it against you, that you're a woman, you can't do this. And as a woman who is from a pastoral community, I always have to prove beyond everyone else that I can do it. And I don't intend to stop. So you can choke me, but I'll continue breathing.
Thank you for sharing those very personal and deep moments. So just to mention maybe, how then do you balance your work life? You are the HR people, and you tell us a lot about work-life balance. You've alluded to support, but how do you ensure you manage all these after working out of the country, many countries as you move
forward? You can never balance, but what you can do is integrate the two.
Okay.
So I like to use the word work-life integration. So what you need to do is, first of all, you need to set priority. You draw what do you want to do for the week. And you have a family also to look after. So kids are in school, they need someone to support them with homework. So how do you arrange your work? You've seen how early they wake up. So if they're waking up at 5 and by 6 they're out of the house, why not start your day by 6 and finish by 3 and be back home at 3 to receive them and help them with the homework? That is the first thing you do. And then the second thing is they need to understand your work. My 8-year-old knows what I do and how it impacts her life, and what we can do together to make sure that mama succeeds and also she spends time with them. So that is also the conversation. Children are not the way they were 10 years ago. They're very demanding, and they want to know, because if it's a weekend and you have a work to do, you have to tell them why, so that they understand. So you have to bring them. And then the support of the family is very important, and caretakers. So you have to balance from that angle. Something else also is that you have to hire A-stars employees, so that the day you step out of that office, nobody feels your absence, because you have someone who will step up into that role and do the job as if you're not there. So delegation is key.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I take you back to a younger Quresha, 21-year-old, trying to look at her leadership journey, trying to shape or reshape or enhance it, what will you have as a conversation with her?
You know, the 21 years old, I'm looking at 2002.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell her that there is a word which was coined, which is no human is limited. This girl who is seated here with you have looked after cattle. I have fetched water from the river. We will go out at 8 a.m. and come back 8 p.m. Basics. And here I have it in plenty. So it's possible. I have done it. You can have the best of both worlds. I still support my family back, who are back there looking after it. And you become what you dictate your life you'll be. Mm-hmm. You know, if you wake up every morning saying, I can't do this, then that's exactly what it will be. So you have to be prayerful, you have to have faith, you have to commit, and you have to believe you can do it. It starts with you. No one else can define that journey for you. So keep on going, and the sky is not the limit. It's just a ceiling, which you can pierce through.
Okay. Yeah. So I'd like you to face that camera and give your closing remarks, words of encouragement to young Kenyans or young aspiring, they ladies especially, on how to get to the helm of leadership and how to stay there and sustain that particular dream, Edie.
So the first thing is you have to put your God first. You have to be a prayerful person. And if you believe, trust me, you can do it. And as a young lady, you define your destiny. You do not involve so many people to do that for you. You know what you want, get the right people, because you choose the right circle. Peer pressure, I know we've been talking about it for the longest time, but you can choose the positive one. People who you can draw positive energy from, who can support you. And if you show your leadership skills, and that is the beauty of this, is that when you show your skills out there, people recognize and they build on it. In my previous work, we used to say, what is your strengths and areas of opportunity? We never talk about weaknesses. So show yourself, showcase yourself, package yourself for the leadership roles, and follow the right accounts. You must have a personal brand. You must be part of the discussion, and that is how you get to the helm of leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was CHRP Quresha Abdullahi, who is the ED at IHRM. This was the weekly governance voice, brought to you courtesy of the Institute of Certified Secretaries, powered by Bafunde. I am your host, Obare Nyaega. Until next week, see you.